could be a benefit of having this type of control? How can the body benefit by having control like this for the flow?
It allows us to keep water and nutrients.
It could allow us to have proper water balance, proper electrolyte balance. It could help in a time of maybe shock. Because what can happen with circulatory shock? Somebody goes into shock.
Your tissues can start to die.
Because everything just kind of begins to start shutting down. Okay, this can begin to affect the flow to the kidneys. Trauma affecting the flow to the kidneys. It's a control mechanism, and hopefully that control mechanism is for maintenance of these apparatuses. So this innervation, this structure, everything that we have working together, we're hoping that it's going to control urine output, that we're going to return materials back to the body, and that we're not going to have shutdown. That sympathetic control, I kind of liked this, okay? Strenuous exercise. Kind of started thinking about this. Went to the gym yesterday. I'm on my bike. I bumped it up a level, and I bumped it up a little bit for my, man, actually broke out in a sweat yesterday at the gym. Don't normally do that, all right? And I'm thinking, because I'd done my notes for this. And I was like, strenuous exercise. I'm not in shock. It's something that I'm doing. All right? Where's my blood flow going? If I'm restricting the blood flow to the kidneys, where was I sending my blood flow? To my muscles. Okay? I didn't increase the blood flow through the kidneys. Kidneys were able to keep their cells under control, and I got the blood flow to the muscles so I could work out and sweat. Now, something such as acute conditions, we just mentioned the case of circulatory shock. They got constricted, output got reduced. For my purposes, I sent it to the skeletal muscles. In the case of something like circulatory shock, if I decrease the blood flow to the kidneys, I'm going to increase it to other areas of the body that have a high demand. So this is a way that we could use it under the acute conditions. Another way that we control or regulate glomerular filtration, we have a mechanism called the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone mechanism. Now, this is a complicated process. I am not asking you to learn it, okay? This process, RAA, okay? This is going to be used in conditions where there's a high drop in our blood pressure. It'll be quick for the most part, usually something detrimental taking place in the body. Do you guys remember the baroreceptors or the baroreceptors that are found in the arteries that branch off of the aorta? Min's shaking her head, okay? They detect the signals that get sent to the brain stem. the enzyme renin gets produced. Now here's what will happen. In cases of this huge drop in blood pressure, we have in the blood plasma this protein called angiotensinogen. The renin will act on that. It'll generate angiotensin 1. That has to travel to the lungs. Once it gets to the lungs and the kidneys, they have an enzyme that will convert it. And it will become angiotensin 2. And that will then go on to affect the blood volume and the blood pressure. The reason that I mention this, some medications that people have to take are called an ACE inhibitor. So when you hear the term ACE inhibitor, this is what it's referring to. So, the high blood pressure can have a major effect on these glomerular parts. But we can also have problems with low blood pressure. Sometimes people can have low blood pressure to a point they need medication to keep their blood pressure up. Because if blood pressure is low, what is the danger of having blood pressure be too low? Blood is not getting to all the tissues. And therefore, we are not getting nutrients, we're not getting oxygen, we're not getting rid of the waste. So people have to take sometimes an ACE inhibitor because they have chronic low blood pressure. And it'll affect this mechanism.
So people on kidney dialysis, are they usually on ACE inhibitors? Since I know they have really low blood pressure.
I would imagine it would be case to case because a person could be on kidney dialysis but not necessarily have a blood pressure problem. Okay? They could have had chronic high blood pressure that led to the kidney failure. They could have had a disease that led to the kidney failure. It didn't necessarily have to be a blood pressure problem leading to the renal failure. So I'd imagine it could be case to case for the use of the medications. So you actually hear this being mentioned on commercials for some medications. You'll hear them say an ACE inhibitor. Yes, no, maybe. Take a break, be back at 12:30.